beautiful ones, this is Veronika Oliver here, and I'm about to embark on teaching you some burlesque basics as part of the Dance in Your Pants kind of massive work. Okay, to just prove the point, I am wearing pants, and you can see I'm wearing slippers. Okay, so you don't need to wear the high heels. I'm wearing corset because I think you should still go with that fun of it. Why not? Put on your corsets, put on your beautiful outfits, and just keep it casual down the lower end. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover is the facial expressions. When it comes to burlesque, that's the most important thing. If you mess up the routine or something goes wrong, doesn't matter, you can get away with murder. The main thing is to pull the right faces. So let's have a quick look. This is an easy exercise. You can do this sitting down, have it comfortable for you at the moment. First things first is smile. Okay, smile is pretty important. You can whether it be a bit of a quiet one, a bit shy one, or a very full-on teeth showing and everything else going. Okay, choose your weapon, whichever suits you best, or play with different scenarios however you like. Get a mirror in front of you. Practice the face you think you look best with. The idea is to look your best, to look sexy, look happy and comfortable, or, guess this, you don't always just have to go with the sexy, you can go with the silly slapstick comedy. So if you want to look a bit more ugly, a bit more scary, go with that, that's fine too. Okay. Next thing, apart from smiling, you can also pull the cheeky faces, and this is all about the cheeky, okay? So go to town with it, pretend, oh, I'm innocent, oh, I'm this cute, look at me, wow. Do these facial expressions, tilt your head, works, whatever works. You need to practice again in the mirror and see what you find best suits you. Adding to this, obviously, you're going to then start adding the other parts of the burlesque, which I'm going to add and I'm going to talk about in the next section. So just hold it out there, practice your facial expressions, and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we covered the facial expressions, now let's go into the actual other parts of burlesque. So, first things first, when you are starting your burlesque performance, or whenever you're starting out any of the routines, the best bet is to start with some kind of a standing position. Okay, the very basic standing position will be your feet together, closed, nice and closed, and your legs up together as well. You might want to hinge from the hips a little bit forwards, just to push out your bum a little bit and create a little bit more of an hourglass shape. Okay, and make it slipper legs and works. Okay. Option number 2, you can have what we call the cooch. In this case, I'm popping one leg or the other, whichever is comfortable for you, and that cross is in front of the other, okay? And as you see, that creates yet again a bit more of a rounded kind of hourglass shape. You can put your hands on your hips, you can pose any which way you like, okay? Number 3, just for play, you can have it crossed in front, just like you're about to take a step, arms out to the side. This is entirely up to you. Sometimes you can start with side-on positions to accentuate your side view and showing off your waistline, hips, maybe your bum as well. It's all part of cheekiness, why not? Okay, but the same positions apply. You can again keep straight legs, bum hinged out to the front rather than just standing there, okay? Or you can cooch again. This way you would want to curve your tummy and accentuate your bum out and still pose your front, so you don't want to be necessarily side on, you always want to twist your shoulders to look at the audience and look very cute, okay? These are the standing options. You have other options, you can start however you like. The main thing you're looking for here is looking classy, looking sexy, or again looking cheeky, a bit of an ugly kind of a look, if that's what you're looking for, slapstick comedy style. Okay, I'm just going to check my notes quickly. The next bit will be the walk and strut. So this is to cover the floor space, giving yourself a bit of a nice strut to show off your whole body and your movement in the best light. So it's pretty important that you get this one right as well. You have options to strut fast, in which case you might want to show some kind of an attitude, or you can be more teasing, in which case you would walk slowly. Now obviously you don't walk like you would down the street, you want to make sure this is looking at catwalk and a bit more accentuated. So let's have a look at how you do that. With normal walking, you would just step as you normal, one foot in front of the other, linear kind of way. Now in this case you want to accentuate the hips and the movement of the hips, so think of it as swaying your hips. So the easiest way to do it is by just on the spot bending one knee and then the other, and you can see that's already moving the hips quite nicely. That's what you want to show off the hourglass shape. So let's put this into actual walking. So as I'm taking one foot forwards, the one in the front is where my hip will swing, and to the other side, and sway, and sway, and sway. Now obviously if you are burlesquing it and doing a boy side and you don't really want to do the feminine strut, you can still walk, but in this case your upper body will swing a bit more manly. One shoulder hits down the other as you go, because you want to look more macho rather than pretty girl. Okay, so that's for the slow strut, in which case you want to take your time over it, undulate your body, and as you can see my hips, not just my hips move, but actually my shoulders against it as well. You can use your arms to go out to the side to accentuate a willowy look. If you notice, my arms are not going straight out to the side, they're all elbow and wrist, and moving along that like so. If you want to portray more of a strut, eyeing a bit more attitude, a bit more stronger pose, then in that case you will hit the floor more harder with the foot and have a bit more faster walk. And the same rule applies. In this case you would have a bit more attitude added in there. It's up to you to practice this. The best thing you can do is either use mirrors if you have them. If you have nice French doors, you can use them as a reflection if you have the lights switched on, so that should work for you. Okay. To add to that, you can also make the footwork a bit more interesting with it. So rather than just a simple strut, you can add a chassis step. And it's a very simple step. Take right foot forwards and shuffle the foot behind it, so you're closing it. So step and shuffle and step and shuffle, and you can go with other foot, step and shuffle and step and shuffle. So if you were to actually practice this to slow, you can go step and shuffle, step and shuffle, step and shuffle, step and shuffle. Again, the idea here is to move those hips and undulate as much as you can. You can switch it up a bit more. You can put a foot pointing out and cross, point out and cross, and point and cross. Now in this case, what you want to make sure that your pointing foot doesn't bear much weight. If you step on it, suddenly it becomes a bit of a drunken sailor thing, which again, if you're looking for the fun factor of it, that's fine. But if you are looking for nice elegant legs, you want to make sure that as you strut out, you point your toes, it's all nice and straight and poised, and then cross in front, weight change onto that front foot, then cross out with the other side, and step, and so. Now, to accentuate this really, you want to look as you do. So as I step and point the leg out, I will look at that leg, and face, and out, and face, out, and face, out, and face. Now this takes a little bit of a practice, because this can make you feel a little bit dizzy, I find, at first, especially when you're high heels. So for now, stick with some flat shoes until you're comfortable with all your weight bearings and you know where you're at. Okay? Let's add to that. So we've got now covered some of your strutting, we've got the facial expressions, we've got the walking, we've got the standing poses. What's missing is a bit of traces and a bit of a sexy action with your teasing. Okay, so obviously burlesque being mostly a teasing type of dancing, let's not kid ourselves, that's what it is really. We're going to have to incorporate a lot of that slightly kind of innuendo and very suggestive type of movements. So these are called the traces. Tracing means when you have your hand back of it, or the palm of the actual fingers, to trace a part of your body. This is to just show off a little bit, to bring attention to that particular part of your body. So we're going to start first of all with the arms. Every time you're about to trace something, you first show it off to draw attention to it. So you wouldn't just go, off you go. You would go, here's an arm. Have a look what I've got here. You can even twiddle your fingers. You get the other hand, and you're going to trace it up from the top of your hands all the way up. Now you can go as far as you like. If you're working with gloves, you only walk as far as the glove starts. If you want to just walk up to the arms, that's fine too. If you want to do a full trace, you would trace across the front of your chest. Now bearing in mind you want to keep it classy, you would never just go there, so to speak. But then again, if you are slapstick comedy, anything is okay as long as it's not too vulgar. I wouldn't want to go vulgar. So you can go across all the way out, maybe even click with your fingers and repeat on the other side. So you can take your left arm out, trace it up and go across. Now you will notice that I will always try to move my lower body as well. You can just do it straight like that, that might work. It's very sort of strong position in terms of showing your arms, but I normally add a bit of a hip bump. Hip bumps are very simple. Cooch one leg as you did before and just keep lifting the hip. That's cooched, because cooch is the one where you have your knees. It makes it easier because by pushing down on your foot, straightening the leg, it starts moving the hip. It's a very simple movement, okay? So with that, let's just have a little go. So get your right arm out, look at it. You don't just want to look anywhere, you want to actually look at what you're focusing on. Hip bump as well, and trace it up. If this is too much, it feels like that, then just start with this. Keep it simple, keep your legs closed, okay? To get one up from that, bend your knees and then do it. And then add to the cooch, hold that and do it that way. And once you feel even more comfortable, then you can start using the hip bumps as well as you go, okay? So that will be for the arms. Now if you want to do a side trace, side will be obviously the side stand from this kind of area, if you like, okay? Same thing applies. Remember that we are presenting that side, so I wouldn't really do necessarily a trace. I can do it this way, but this is more powerful if it's slightly turned so that the audience can actually see what I'm doing. I can trace with the opposite arm, but it might be a bit harder to do because it's a lot of twisting motion. So you probably just want to do whichever side, trace it upwards and back down. Now whenever you're tracing upwards with the fingers and the palm, okay? And then you trace downwards with the outside of the fingers, the upper part, to go down to the side, okay? You can do it again on the other side. You can do them together all at the same time, up into the air, back down again. You can use tracing around your chin and your face. You can even hold a little cute poses. You can flick your hair. If you've got long hair, lucky you, it will look even nicer to flick your fingers through it and make it look very pretty and feminine. Gents, if you aren't participating, you are still okay to do the arms just the same, just as well as the girls would do it. In that case, you probably wouldn't cooch, you probably would strike a slightly wider stance, something a bit more manly that gives a bit more macho look rather than pretty feminine, unless you're playing and pretending to be a bit more feminine, which is also okay. Right, moving on. So we covered the arms, we covered the sides. We haven't covered the bum. Okay, obviously it's cute, it's a little bit more cheeky than usual. If you're going to do trace, you would do just the outside, just a little bit, a couple of these rounds to just bring attention to it. You wouldn't do it all the time, you add a bit of a little spice and a bit of an accentuation during your routine. Final thing will be your leg traces. Now leg traces you can do right front. Normally the best look is to have it out to the side. Now as you go, the easiest way to do it is bend the supporting leg. This gives you a bit more support and also helps you with bending. If you have just a straight leg and trying to bend, it's only so far you can go, especially if you're wearing a corset, then it makes it really difficult. So if you bend the knee, you see it gives you a bit more motion. Now if you have obviously a bit more problem with bending, you can just bend from the hips and point it out. And the main idea here is not necessarily reach to your ankles because they may not be that flexible. If you can just reach to your knees, it's perfectly fine. It's all about the visual optical illusion of having the lovely leg out and show them that you've got a nice leg. That's the main idea about the trace, okay? So if you are to do it, bend your knee, point your leg, look down at your trace and try to use just the fingertips, not a big hand like so to grab a big piece of flesh, okay? So looking nice. Trace it up, you can bring it up to your hips, you can bring it up to your sides. Now if you do it any further than that, I would normally close my leg as well as I go, just so I end up pointing in a nice hourglass shape. But again, you want a choreographer, if you're going to work with this on your own, it's up to you. Main thing is to try to video yourself. In that case, to check that it looks okay and doesn't look a bit out of line. And that's it. Those are the traces, those are your walks and struts and shuffles and even standing poses. So what I suggest is that I'm going to go through a simple routine with you, and then we're going to try and put it to music, okay? Right then, my lovelies, so you have learned all the basics about the first time around about burlesque. So now let's put it into a bit of a practice. I'll put together a very simple routine that you can learn, which I'm going to break through. Let me quickly show you what it looks like, and then we'll work from it and break it down into bits by bits. So let me just put the music on. Just strike a pose, choose a pose that you like. Let's break this through. I'm going to put this music on pause. So, first thing we've done is first thing but first, we were actually standing in a pose of your choice. I had literally done the cooch from sideways, so I bent the right leg, right hand on the hip, looking down. Once the music gets started, eventually I started hip bumping. Very simple thing, you just straighten your leg and that will give your hips starting to pop and go. You do this for about 8 counts, okay? Once you've had your 8 counts, you can count this on your own or when you feel like you're ready. You don't want to be there for too long because then it becomes a bit boring. So once you've done your 8 counts, you look up into the audience and turn around to face. We then have gone 8 small steps or short steps, depends on your living room or the space you have to play with. Obviously for the camera's sake I wasn't taking big steps, otherwise you'd be seeing me about that much in the camera. Okay, so take the right leg and the left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And as I was doing this, what I was making sure is that my hips are really undulating and pushing as much as you can. And to add something with your arms, you can take your hand to your head traces or neck traces. You can go down to your side to bring back down again. You can even, as you turn around, because we've done 8 steps of this, little stroke off the behind, turn around and you walk away for 8 steps. So that's easy, just 8 steps. I'm not going to count it out because otherwise you'll be here for a long while. So to recap from the beginning, 8 beats of holding, looking up, then you walk for 8, turn around, stroke, turn around and hold. You're going to turn back around, and this time you're going to do your arm traces as we already learned. So remember, present the right arm or left, whichever you want to start with. Take the other hand, palm facing downwards, you're going to stroke it up, looking at the stroke. Cross your chest, and at the end of it you can do a bit of a quick click. Okay, repeat the other side. This time take your left hand over the top again. Try to keep up with the 8 counts. You can count it as the music goes and then click. If you really want to add spice to it and a bit more fun, as you're doing it you can do the hip bumps. The same thing, straightening one leg and putting your weight on the straight leg as you go. And that gives it a bit of pump action that moves the hip and just give it a bit more seductive kind of thing as you go, okay? In the end, I'll just play a little bit with it, walk a bit forwards, maybe give it a couple of shimmies. It's up to you how you want to finish it up, okay? So, that's all. Remember, the routine is a very simple one, have a play with it, and what's even better about it is that you can repeat it again and again until the song comes to an end. Very simple, gets you going with it, and gets you practicing with your smile. Okay, that's it from now. have fun, enjoy the first session. For the next one, make sure you get yourselves a pair of gloves. I'm planning to use nice long ones. If you don't have them, you get your marigolds, whatever works. Guys, you can join in this one as well and have fun with it. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.